Hi again, all my crafty friends. If you are new here, I'm Dawn, and you have found Designs by Gaddis. If you enjoy DIYs, flips, and everything farmhouse, you are in the right place. On my channel, I love bringing you fun, simple, and affordable home decor DIYs on a budget. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you like what you see, hit the bell notification and leave me a comment. Now for our first DIY. I was browsing the at-home website and saw these cute metal flowers and thought I'd give them a try using Dollar Tree and thrifted items. I had 3 of these Dollar Tree metal flowers in my stash. I had already painted 2 of them for a previous project, but thought they would be cute for this project. I gently lifted each of the petals up on the flowers. I painted one with Waverly Pool, one with Waverly Moss, and the third one with Waverly Ballet Slippers chalk paint. I thought these colors were close to the ones I saw on the at-home website. I made sure I was getting underneath the flower petals so none of the other color would show. I also made sure I painted the side of each petal. Once the paint had dried, I used Waverly plaster paint and a small fan brush to distress the flowers until I was happy with the way they look. I had this sign in my stash that I had gotten from Dollar General after Thanksgiving. I think I gave like $2 for it. I used my hot air gun to try to loosen the hot glue on the back of the top boards. I was wanting to save them, but I wound up breaking one of them. After I got the board off, I was able to use my heat gun and a knife to remove the paper and most of the hot glue that was on the board. I did the same thing with the bottom board. The sign had brad nails holding the boards on, so I had to remove them. This was the hardest part of this whole project. I was able to use a pair of pliers and remove all but 2 of the nails. For these 2, I used a nail punch. I think that's what it's called anyway. I placed it on the nail and then used a hammer to push the nail back into the board. I then used fingernail polish remover to get rid of any leftover glue and the wording on the sign. I wasn't really sure if this would work, but let me tell you, fingernail polish to remove this stuff is amazing. It does make a big mess, but the lettering comes off so easily. I'm definitely going to be using this nail polish remover trick on other projects. Now to paint the board. I used Waverly mineral chalk paint and painted the entire board and distressed it a little with a baby wipe. I arranged the flowers how I wanted them on the board and then used super glue and hot glue to hold the flowers on the board. I placed the super glue on the bar on the back of the flower and also around the rim of each flower. If you want to help support my channel and help me continue to make DIYs for you, please consider buying me a coffee. All the information is in the description below. Now back to the DIY. Then after all the flowers were on my board, I used hot glue on the underside where a couple of the petals were touching the board. I used the hot glue just to hold the flowers in place until the super glue had set up. My project isn't exactly like the at-home one, but hey, I think mine turned out better. Let me know in the comments what you think and which one you like more. And now for DIY number 2. I was scrolling through the at-home website to get some inspiration and ran across this adorable little house. I wanted it for my living room shelf. I found this house I got on one of my yard sale adventures and decided to use it to recreate the Home Sweet Home house. The house had a raised texture to it and I wanted mine to be smooth. The first thing I did was use a medium grit Dollar Tree sanding block to scuff up the paint. And then I got smart. Why not try nail polish remover? I had used it on a previous project and it worked great. So I applied nail polish remover to a paper towel and began rubbing it on the house. Perfect. I used the nail polish remover on all the sides of the house to remove most of the textured paint. I then used my sanding block to remove what was left of the texture. I wasn't really worried about the paint itself, just the textured part. I used Waverly ink chalk paint and painted the entire house. And of course used my hot air gun to dry the paint quicker. This hot air gun has saved me so much time on projects because I don't have to wait for the paint to dry. It comes in handy to remove stickers from items too. I'll leave a link in the description for the hot air gun I use on a daily basis and highly recommend. Next, I created this cut file in Design Space and sized it to fit this house. I'll also leave a link for it in the description for any Cricut users who want to recreate this. I applied the vinyl to transfer paper and then to the house. I tried to make sure it was centered and straight on the house. And just look at how stinking cute this little Home Sweet Home turned out. I love it. Up next, DIY number 3. This is another cute inspiration I got from the at-home website. I loved this little monogram sign. I thought it would be perfect for a tier tray, and I had all the supplies to make it in my stash. so it's free, and you all know how much I love free. I had this piece of wood in my scrap pile, and it was already the perfect size. I sanded it lightly and cleaned it with rubbing alcohol. I added a small amount of water to a bowl and then added Dollar Tree black acrylic paint and stirred it to create a black stain. If you would like to help support my channel and help me continue to make DIYs for you, please consider buying me a coffee. All the information is in the description box below. Now back to the DIYs. I painted the wood with the stain and then wiped it off with a baby wipe. After I dried the wood with my hot air gun, I realized it was lighter than I really wanted. So I added more paint to the water and reapplied it to the wood block. This time the color was perfect. I laid this 4-inch coaster on top of the board and traced around it with a pencil. I then painted the inside of the square using Waverly plaster chalk paint. I was having trouble getting straight lines, so I decided to use a Dollar Tree wood square. I haven't been able to find these in quite a while, so I'm not sure if they are still carrying them. I have used these squares so often, I really wish I could find more. I used the plaster paint and painted the square. I applied 2 coats of paint and sanded the wood between coats. I attached the board to the wood using hot glue. I used a Dollar Tree emery board to distress the white board by going around the edges and corners. To distress the white board even more, I used the same mixture I used on the wood around where I had distressed it, and then used a baby wipe to remove the excess. Since my last name is Gaddis, I used my Cricut and cut out the letter G and applied it to the center of the white board. I wanted to try to distress the vinyl, so I dry brushed the letter with more of the plaster paint and smeared it with a baby wipe. I also used plaster paint around the wood block to distress it. I think this little monogram wood sign turned out amazing. And it'll look great on my tiered tray or on my shelf in the living room. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I love how all these dupes turned out. If you haven't already, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Amazing. I upload weekly home decor DIY videos, and you know you don't want to miss any of them. So go ahead and hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Until next time, happy crafting.